Hi, I'm Ashwini, and today we are going to discuss about the concept of self, ego, unnecessary suffering, and many more such things. I have here with me Todd Vickers, the author of three books, The Paradox of Self-Realization, Truth Like Fire, and his latest release, The Relevance of Career. Hi Todd.
Hi Ashwini, it's a pleasure to be with you again.
In your latest book, you discuss the ego, or as you call it, the concept of self, and that what we think about ourselves is not always true. I've heard you say this false sense of self is the source of pain without gain. So, what, according to you, is the self?
It's a good question. We think about ourselves every day. It's probably one of our oldest habits since the time we started moving our fingers in front of our face and realizing that something we think about affects this. And then we think of this as I. Let me give an example that I think everyone will relate to in one way or another. Went to work the same way every morning for a year. And one day he gets up, he backs out his car, and then suddenly, bang, a collision. He gets very angry and he throws open his door and he starts yelling at the other driver, but as he steps out to inspect the damage and confront the other driver, he realizes that the other car is empty. In this circumstance, it seems very clear to see that just because his feelings were real didn't mean the circumstances he explained it to himself was real. And we can also see that the driver of the other car existed entirely in that man's mind. But what's not so easy to see is that the man, as he imagined himself in relation to that other driver, never existed either. That never happened. So that was an imaginary self. And by projecting that imaginary self and reasoning from that imaginary self that he felt was harmed by another, he got angry. So the thing is, in his circumstance, there was a fact that very clearly exposed the fiction. And that was lucky for him. If another person had been in that car, there might have been a conflict, all the facts being the same. Because obviously, if the car is parked, it's his fault. So we may not be so lucky to have some fact expose that we are thinking about ourselves and explaining our world according to that idea. Now, if you consider, say, for example, we have the thinker, the thought itself, and what the thoughts are about. Well, you could call that the cook, the cooking, and the soup. All three of those things are different. But every single one of them disappears in a moment of no mind. So this self has to be conceptual because we don't disappear the moment it's gone. If we forget that we are conceiving of ourselves, any time life throws some fact at us that's contrary to our limited and often fictional ideas, it will be as if we are threatened instead of just an idea about ourselves, an idea that's been coming and going our whole lives. And we can see how these ideas can easily be false. There's a difference between our capacities and our possibilities. Capacity has something to do with what we can do right now without changing anything. We can just simply do it. Possibility, we may have to learn another language to speak it. But if we have a sense of self that we've created and we're trying to sustain, then that sense of self becomes the limit of our capacity. We impose the limits from that idea on our capacities and on our possibilities, and that's totally unnecessary. So if we really want to respect our capacities and our possibilities, one of the ways we can do that is by not arbitrarily limiting them with some idea of ourselves.